I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different and every breakup is different. Work with me and you'll get professional help on your situation. And if you're in no contact, focused on personal growth, my workbook series, The Knowledge, will help you make changes like you've never made before. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about the hard truth about attraction. Okay, Margaret, we're going to have to be a little bit tough today.
The hard truth. The hard truth. Okay.
Many of you guys make excuses for your behavior. You make excuses for yourself and why you do things. And you come up with reasons to do something or say something that is not okay. And you will find that you are maybe controlling or manipulating people or lashing out at them, calling them names because of how you feel. You can't let how you feel excuse how you behave. Would you agree with that?
I certainly would.
Just because you're anxious does not give you the right to mistreat somebody. Doesn't give you the right to yell or scream or throw things at them or treat them poorly. And I have found time and time again that anxiety is often the center of that. You've got to get a hold of your anxiety.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're going to continue to be manipulative, mistreat people, not be understanding or caring or a loving partner that you need to be. You've got to cut out unattractive behaviors if you want people to stay with you.
Now, when you say anxiety, you're really referring to separation anxiety, right?
Sure.
So
but when you say all anxiety, separation anxiety?
I was told that by a professor when I was in social work school, and I thought she was crazy until I practiced for a few more years. And several things she said made more sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it is true. I think all anxiety is separation anxiety. And there are some people who, the minute they get in a relationship, are all anxious about that person leaving them, getting away from them, doing whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got a good email coaching that I sent out, and the woman that got it, she actually was really appreciative of it. I have her comments too, and if there's any relevant comments, I'll share them as well.
Okay.
So now I want to say this. For this particular situation, this guy did give off mixed messages that I didn't like. So I'm not saying that this is all her fault, but what I do want her to do is take control over herself and learn from this. So she can only fix her. She can only work on her.
That's right.
Okay? And that goes for you guys. You can only work on yourself. And so that's what I wanted her to take away from my message here, is that you can change this. Okay? So she said, "Thank you for all that you and Margaret do. I have been watching and learning from your videos. You are right, since every situation is unique, and here I am." She's in her mid-30s, and the guy that she was dating is in his late 20s. And she works a regular 9-to-5 type job, but he has a couple of different jobs, okay? She said, "We are roommates and together since August. In the beginning, he would tell me he's going out with a friend." Okay?
Wait a minute now. They're roommates, so they didn't decide to live together as partners.
Well, the vibe that I got is that, and she didn't articulate this too well from the get-go, is that they were roommates, maybe they were friends first, and then they started hooking up.
Okay.
But
right.
I think, at least she didn't say it initially, but then she made a comment that she said, "I was his girlfriend," but she didn't leave that in the beginning. Okay. So it's a little confusing, but we'll work through it.
All right.
She says, sigh, like, is she your girlfriend or a friend? One time we were out and he slipped and said, girlfriend. And I told him to never talk to me ever again.
Oh. Okay.
You see, this is what I'm talking about, but the emotional and dramatic behavior.
This is pretty dramatic.
Yeah, because there were roommates, and as far as I know, they weren't a couple. He says he's going out, and he slips up as his girlfriend, and she jumps all the way to never talk to me ever again.
Yeah, that's
ever
a long
again.
trip.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
In a short time, yeah.
About behavior turning people off. Okay. He tried by saying he was with her first, but he's going to stop and be with me. Then told me they aren't together anymore. He barely has time anyways, between work, friends, the gym, being a trainer, and training other people. I don't want to be a person who checks up, yet here I am with anxiety, insecure, depressed, and can't sleep until he comes home at night. It makes it 10 times harder since we're roommates. I have kept myself busy, posting about my social life, watching your videos, but at the end of the night, I can't sleep.
So she didn't know his comings and goings.
That's
She'd
right.
be less anxious.
Exactly. It's affecting my health. I've helped him out with rent and his ticket back home to be with his family. Well, I don't know why she feels compelled to do stuff like that when he doesn't even tell her where he's going, what he's doing, and it seems like he's got a girlfriend.
Yes, it does.
So I'm concerned that he's taking advantage of her.
Yes.
He didn't come home for 2 nights, and when I looked out the window, I saw that he drove her car. She was in the passenger seat and gave him just a hug and drove off. Okay.
Okay.
So at that point, it certainly looks like they're still dating, even though, so he's giving her mixed messages. We're not dating, but he disappears for a couple days, right? So I don't like the fact that he seems to be playing games with her,
Well,
right?
they've never defined their relationship, it doesn't sound like.
It doesn't sound like that to me either. Okay. His reasoning was that she helped him shop for family gifts. Now, mind you, he's been gone for 2 days. That's what it sounds like.
And you have to stay out all night for that shopping. It's really rugged.
I guess so. She says, I don't believe it.
No.
Even if he lives one place and the drive is far, I'm not going to say where. He's also friends with the brother, and that's the excuse. Okay? I guess that he was hanging out with her brother. I guess they're friends.
They're friends.
And he helps train him. After that, he promised to come home every night, which he did for a while. At the airport, he posts on Instagram a picture of them together with the message, I'm gonna miss you, with a heart. I thought he broke up with her, right? Mm-hmm. So this guy is giving her mixed messages, for sure.
And that's polite.
Yeah. He was at the airport telling me that the pic on Instagram is old, so don't flip out, since she got mad because she hasn't seen him in a long time, so he had to post that.
Oh, Lord.
Exactly.
How terribly 8th grade. Yeah.
I called him crying and screaming, like, just because you tell me doesn't make it right. It should be a picture of us if you're going to be gone. There's more of that drama coming out from her. You know, she called him up screaming. Mm-hmm. She lost her temper right away. She's got to work on that, right? He never made his flight. Which is, how do you not make the flight if you're at the airport?
Well, I guess he managed. Was she calling him at the airport screaming and yelling?
The vibe that I got.
Yeah.
Well, it got
High
rescheduled.
drama.
The flight got rescheduled. He was depressed and never came home, stayed at a friend's. I called back later, his friend, and he answered. He wasn't lying, but still. Okay, so I guess he was staying at a guy friend's house. Fast forward, we got into a fight. He didn't come home for 2 nights again. So it makes me wonder, did she start a fight and then he didn't want to come home? Or did he start the fight so he wouldn't have to come home?
Yeah, whatever.
Right? He told me that he was with friends drinking and that I'm crazy, think he's always around girls, and that I need to fix my thinking. Okay, so that makes me wonder.
So that she believes all the stuff he hands her.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what's going on. Is it a little bit of both? Is he lying to her and leading her on? Is she blowing things out of proportion anytime she gets some anxiety? It seems to me like it's kind of a mix of both.
It's a mix, I think.
Right?
But he's questioning her reality, which I have a problem with.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't like his behavior either.
No.
She said, "Sorry, Coach. I try not to sound so dramatic, but everything happened recently and the wound is fresh. And it's been hard. I can't go to friends or family for advice because of the situation. They'll just say, 'Next, move on with another guy.' You're right. I am very emotional. I'll watch your video and the others." That was in response to one of the comments that I put in the email coaching.
So
Remember I said this? Some of the comments were after she got my response, and that was one of them. "I told him I have no trust for him and he needs to fix the trust since it takes time to build. What's wrong with calling me and texting me to reassure me when you're away?" Well, I agree with that, but what are you guys? I mean...
Yeah, you've got to define the terms here. What did you agree to?
Yeah, it seems like she kind of jumped the gun on if they're in a committed relationship, and so she's got all these demands.
And to some degree it was working for him, so he went along with it.
Yeah. Yeah, probably just maybe taking advantage of her because of the money or the living situation. It's hard to say, right?
He got some goodies from it. He didn't correct her views.
Yeah. "Lately, he's just irritated of me. I'm just getting mad over everything. I told him to tell her to stop messaging, and he's with me now, and to cut her off completely." There's more of the drama that she's got to work on, right? Because, that sounds like an ultimatum to me, you're demanding him.
Never works.
Stop messaging her, you're with me now, cut her off completely. That's not going to make him want to do it. He's got to want to choose you. It doesn't sound like he's ever really chosen this.
Yeah, nobody's made a decision here.
Yeah. And so that's why her behavior seems so intense, because it doesn't seem like, at least from what I could tell, that they were actually exclusive and he's violating all these things.
We don't know what he's violating because we don't know what their agreement was.
Yeah. "He needs to tell me where he's at if he's away and spend more time with me."
Tell him that. It's going to get you a long way.
It's not going to get you a long way, in case you're not picking that up. Okay? These kind of demands are not going to work on an adult.
No.
And you're not treating him like an adult. He needs to tell me where he's at? I mean, are you in a committed relationship?
Yeah, really.
I mean...
You're not married that we're hearing.
And even if he was, talking to him in that intense tone is not going to get you anywhere.
Like these are orders from headquarters.
Exactly. He said he can't cut her off. He can't. Why not? That's a choice. You can. "We'll think about the other things. I told him if he loved me and cared about me, he will do it. If not, I'll cut him off. Or cut it off with him."
Mm-hmm.
All of this is intense. This is not attractive. This is not making him want to come to you and leave that other woman. This is making him say, "I might as well stay with this other woman because I can't take this. I got to go home to this," screaming and yelling.
What if they're both like that?
Well, that's entirely possible. It's entirely possible. I definitely don't like a lot of his mixed messages.
I don't either.
But, again, we're trying to get her to see how she's got to come across in more of an attractive, calm way.
Reasonable way.
Reasonable.
Yeah.
It's a good word.
Yeah, before you say you're not ever going to talk to me again, could we at least discuss the situation?
I mean, but you could see from the get-go it was never talk to me again.
Yeah, never talk to me.
Right off the bat, right? She says, "I can't do this back and forth, and I need proof, not words." And I agree with that. If you can't do the back and forth, that's understandable. And if you want proof, that's understandable. But that doesn't mean he wants to give it to you.
No.
But if you can't handle him...
But if you don't trust him and you don't know where he is, that's not a relationship anyway.
Yeah, and I don't think you should trust this guy.
No.
Not after what you're telling me here,
No.
right?
No.
"It's been 2 days since no contact. I notice her Instagram profile is now public. So he must have said something, but it's not enough. I mean, you're jumping to conclusions there.
So he might have cut her off a little.
Yeah. And there's a picture of them dated October 9th, which is recent. And she put that in bold.
Recent.
He even liked her picture, but not the picture I have of us together. He doesn't have time for me, but for her. Ugh.
Okay.
This woman is very upset and very angry and very hurt. And I'm not even sure they had anything defined here that, you know, it certainly, if anything, it seems like it was relatively new, right? Coach, I really don't know what to do anymore. I left a lot of good times and left details out, but am I doing the right thing? What do I need to do? I love him and want to make things work with him. He cares about me. Things are great when I'm not mad, but I am not crazy. I have all my reasons. Do I stay in no contact? I can, but Thanksgiving is coming up and he's going to be gone the end of November. How do I make things better to save this relationship? I already told him everything that I need, and now I am just giving him the space and time. Well, I think that's what you could have done from the get-go.
Yeah.
Listen.
What does he want? We have no idea.
He seems to want both of them.
That's right. And that doesn't work well.
And, you know, sometimes that can work well in the beginning, but once you get really attached and feelings get involved, and you don't want that, and you've got to say, look, this is what I need, and if that's not what you want, I understand. You don't have to be with me if you don't want to. If you want to be with her, that's okay.
Yeah.
And let him go.
That's your decision.
But,
Yeah.
you know, the threats, the demands, the anger, this is hostile.
Nobody's going to respond to the threats and the demands.
Yeah.
With anything but hostility.
But she seems hostile, right?
Oh, extremely angry. We could be looking at some borderline features here. Definitely.
Yeah.
But it sounds to me, now tell me if this sounds right to you, like he'd been dating her. They somehow ended up as roommates. And then they hooked up a few times. Is that the sense you get?
No, I get the sense that he was dating this other woman first because he said in this email,
Right.
I was with her first.
Yes, that's what it sounds like to
So
me.
he was dating this other woman,
Yeah.
and him and the woman in this email were roommates. Maybe they were friends
That's what it
first.
sounds like to
and
me,
then
too.
they
Yeah.
started hooking up.
And then they started
so
hooking
he
up.
was hooking up with that girl, hooking up with the roommate,
Yeah.
and enjoying the best of both worlds.
Absolutely.
And kind of stringing them both along.
I think so.
And it
That's
seemed,
what I was saying.
Yeah. But he was with, I think, the other woman first.
Right.
Not her.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah.
So somehow they ended up roommates, which had nothing to do with anything.
But she's acting like she's been in this long-term
acting like
commitment.
it has been a committed relationship.
Yeah.
And you can't treat anybody that way.
No.
Ever.
No.
No matter how right you think you are.
No.
I want proof. Nobody's going to get you proof.
Yeah, the demands.
One's going
You
to
need
do
to
that.
tell me where you're at, what you're doing. You need to.
And why would he want to be smothered? But he also needs to decide what he wants.
Yeah.
Because it's, he wasn't going to shut off a good thing.
Yeah.
He had the girlfriend and then some wonderful developments happened at home.
I think probably what happened, he probably wasn't too serious with the other girl. He started hooking up with her.
Yeah.
It was going well, but she got so angry and demanding and controlling and frustrating that he probably just started staying out and going out with the other girl more. And then he's probably thinking, well, if I tell her the truth, she's just going to blow up more. And now we're roommates. Maybe they have some kind of lease together. And he's thinking, how am I going to do this for the next 6 months, year, whatever?
The truth will set you free.
Sure.
Always.
Yeah.
So he needs to get honest with himself and both of them.
Absolutely, I agree.
About what he wants and what's reasonable and what isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I just think that, outside of what's going on with him and her, I suspect she probably does a lot of this behavior with a lot of people.
I would guess so too.
Right? It seems very early.
Yeah.
This feels like an early wound to me.
It does to me as well.
An early attachment wound.
And that when she feels any hint of an attachment wound, she panics and does all kinds of crazy stuff to try to pull the person back to her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And, you know, she's got to go on with her life, whatever this guy does. And it's hard to believe that her anger and so forth is not getting in her way.
Yeah,
But I would recommend, it sounds to me she'd be perfectly justified to walk away from him. He's not going to meet her demands. He's not even going to try. Why would he?
Yeah. No, certainly not. I mean, anytime soon.
No.
And I think that she needs to focus on why she gets so hurt so easily and how she jumps to conclusions, because she jumped to conclusions really quick.
Oh, quickly. Never talk to me again.
Yeah.
Before we've even discussed the situation.
Yeah. And so I think that, you know, she needs to really work on becoming emotionally healthy and more in tune with what triggers her and makes her upset, and less intense in her demands from somebody else, because I feel like she probably just didn't get a lot of needs met from her parents.
Doesn't sound like she got many needs met at all ever.
Yeah.
I would think therapy might be very helpful to her.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's got to work through some stuff, but
she doesn't have to stay in this situation with mixed messages.
no,
No.
not at all.
And it's not a good thing for her.
But the harsh truth is that her behavior is going to increase or decrease the chances that somebody will want to stay with her.
Absolutely.
And make it work and be attracted to her. And that goes for all of us. When we act in an unattractive way, controlling, demanding, possessive, jealous, rage, all those things, it's just going to make the other person...
It pushes people away.
Yeah.
Which is the exact opposite of what the desperate person wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to get a little bit of tough love to see that about yourself.
Right.
Right?
So approaching her would be like walking in a minefield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she actually responded really well to what I wrote her.
Did she?
Yeah. And she seemed very sincere about everything that I had to say.
Good.
And she seems to really want to be accountable for that, and wanting to change who she is and learn from this. So I was happy because
Good.
I told her, you know, sometimes it's tough to say these things to you guys because I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I also feel that I want to be honest
We
with
have
you.
to tell you the truth. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's like, oh, this is going to be harsh, but it's going to help you more in the long run to get the truth, even if it's a little harsh and stings a bit, than to continue living unconsciously, which is what I think she's been doing.
Living unconsciously, that's a really good term. We'll talk more about that. Meaning living not knowing really what you're doing or why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think so many people, when they learn about attachment and trauma and anxiety, it really helps enlighten them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then you can think about what you're doing. Yeah.
All right, so tough situation, but I
Yeah.
think it was a good email to work through.
And we wish her well.
Absolutely. And I suspect we'll get a success story from her in the future.
Okay, I hope so.
Of course, if you want to get our help personally with your situation, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret, of course, is here for Skype coaching.
And if you think I can be helpful to you, please sign up.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website to do that. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon.